Joel Embiid, who has been able to use social media in a way that almost none of his peers have been able, which is to get inside the heads of opponents.
For more now, let's welcome in our Adrian Wojnarowski, who actually broke this news.
What can you tell us, Woj? Adrian is here.
Even before Steph Curry was lost for a significant period of time with a broken left hand, as an organization, Golden State knew that this was going to be a bridge year for them, a chance to develop some of the young players on their roster, try to stay competitive in the West, and then try to reload for the next 2 years of Steph Curry's prime, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and one more thing. In the D'Angelo Russell, Kevin Durant sign and trade, Golden State had sent its first-round pick in 2020 to the Nets, protected numbers 1 through 20. Brooklyn was fairly confident they would get that pick this year, but with the bottoming out of this Golden State team, a clear pathway now to the lottery, instead of getting Golden State's first-round pick this year, the Nets will get a 2025 second-round pick from Golden State, and so that allows Bob Myers, their president and GM, and his staff to go out and do something that they've done very well in building this Golden State dynasty, and that's drafting an impact player. But for Golden State, their run of 5 straight NBA Finals is over, and they're back to the reality of what most of the rest of the NBA deals with in a year-in, year-out basis. In so many ways, the arrivals of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant with the Brooklyn Nets change everything for that organization. But here's something that they're very committed to not changing, and that's having patience and believing that they've got an organization, a culture that could absorb lots of different kind of players into it and still find success. And this is an organization that's going to be patient with the integration of Irving into their team. He plays differently than almost any guard in the league, and he has got to learn how to play with a group of players that were used last year to a lot of ball movement, a lot of sharing, and you have a player now who is absolutely dominating the ball. And here's one thing that you have to attribute to their slow start, and that's an overseas trip in the preseason that really cuts into training camp practice time. You lose days traveling out, you lose days traveling back, and teams will tell you you don't get much work done when you're in China, when you're in India, and you've seen several of those teams sluggish out of the gate. Kenny Atkinson, the Nets coach, even lamented, it looks as though we're not running any kind of an offense out there. But Sean Marks, Kenny Atkinson, they're in this for the long haul with Irving, with Kevin Durant. You're not going to see a lot of panic early on in Brooklyn, despite the significant expectations for that organization now. You can expect some lasting implications on the fallout of the Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid scuffle in Philadelphia this week. One thing that the NBA does not want to see again is a skirmish on the court tumbling into post-game, not just post-game press conferences, but social media. And the back and forth between Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns that went deep into the night is something that was absolutely a part of the punishment meted out from the league office to both players who were suspended 2 games. Some of it certainly is centered on Joel Embiid, who has been able to use social media in a way that almost none of his peers have been able, which is to get inside the heads of opponents, to get under their skin. And he clearly drew Towns back into it late that night. The league did not love this episode, and they want to absolutely curtail that in the future. That message was sent clearly to not just both players, but both organizations. Since Dan Gilbert bought the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2005, he's been to 5 NBA Finals, won a championship in 2016 with LeBron James. But one thing he had not done, at least until now, and that was extend the contract of one of his general managers. And I'm told he's done that with Kobe Altman, who's agreed to a long-term extension in Cleveland. And Altman's mandate has been made clear from Gilbert, and that's to reshape this organization, this roster, in a post-LeBron James era. He's done that with a backcourt of the future. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, both drafted in the last 2 years, and a new coach, John Beilein from the University of Michigan, who really is driving home the idea in Cleveland of player development. I spent some time there in the preseason, and to watch a Beilein practice is pretty unique in the NBA. Even veteran players, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, really focused on the basics of basketball, pivoting, boxing out. It is a different way to approach coaching, and they're rebuilding this organization from the ground up. Altman rewarded with a long-term contract extension, and Cleveland has clearly set its direction for the future. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app, and for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.